Thanks for coming to Dhi Atman Show, episode 11. And I'm just going to give a brief introduction about Bhaskar. Bhaskar Yogacharya is a coach, spiritual teacher, and he's a certified psychologist. He has been practicing spirituality for more than 13 years. And the most interesting part about Bhaskar is that he has trained celebrities like Sushant Singh Rajput, Sonu Sood, Ekta Kapoor, Kartik Aryan, Kajal Agarwal. And he has also been a life coach at corporate like Google, American Express, and Deloitte, and things like that. So, yeah, go ahead and complete your introduction, Bhaskar, before I start this part.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for a warm introduction. It's it's great. But anyways, you've mentioned everything. It's just yeah, I'm pursuing PhD in yoga, and yes, this is what we're going to talk about today. Is one of my favorite subjects. So yes, it's just amazing, and thank you so much, Anamika, for inviting me to the Atman Show. I've been watching your shows and they are just incredible and so much knowledge you gather from there. It's just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So quickly, we'll go and our first talk will actually this episode is about reincarnation. So Bhaskar is quickly going to share a real life story about reincarnation. So go ahead, Bhaskar.
Well, actually, there are India is a land where we have been hearing different kind of stories for different things. Like there, some people call something superstition. India is a land of spirituality, religion, a lot of things. But yes, reincarnation is something which we have been really positive about always. And there has been many instances. One of them, the most famous one, is of Shanti, this kid. She was born in 1930. And interestingly, when she was 4, she just realized that the parents, the house, the place where she lives is not her own. The parents are not her parents because she started realizing that she belonged somewhere else. So she was in Delhi. She was born in Delhi. However, she could feel, she could remember some things, that she is from Mathura and her parents live there, her family lives there. Her parents didn't bother much because she was 4 years old, and who listened to 4 years old? Seriously, anyways. But yes, she was adamant and she kept telling parents, people, nobody bothered. But when she was 6 years, she literally tried to run away from her house to go to her real house in Mathura. Then the parents realized that how serious she is when she's talking about this. And ultimately, with some questionings, with some research, we really found out that whatever she's saying, there was a lady in Mathura with whatever description she was giving. So we came up with this, that she was incarnated as Shanti and her previous birth was Lugdi Devi. But again, there were many speculation on that okay, people were not believing because okay, she knew this family, she knew her husband, she knew the house, but it could be coincidence as well. So there were many committees and many people researched about it. And the most famous one was done by Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
He made a committee, and there people literally traveled to Mathura with this little kid and asked her questions. Like they gathered some people and they started asking, okay, do you know anyone among these? So she could recognize her husband's brother. They took her to somebody's house and she just runs and touches a feet. So she could recognize her previous birth's grandfather as well. She could remember everyone, everything, even her ex-husband. I mean, like, okay, her ex-husband in the previous birth
Well,
was also presented in front of her as a test, and he just tried to claim as that he was somebody's brother or something, but she could recognize him. She could even recognize her own son, who, when she delivered, she just passed away after 10 days of delivering this baby. So this was tremendous. And this is something which can literally give you goosebumps if you really learn about this story. It's just amazing.
yeah.
So,
All right. Thank you. It was really
yes.
interesting story. Moving on to our question. According to Vedic concept, soul flies off after death from the present body, dead like a bird flies off from one tree to another. The soul re-enters another body through womb of a female in another body. Do you agree, or do you have any other, comments on that one?
Well, this is a very interesting topic to discuss upon, because it has been believed by many that yes, it happens like this, and there are many people who don't believe in this. However, we do believe in this. If you ask me personally, yes, I do believe that yes, it happens, and there are like, see, as we have been seeing our scriptures as well as our epic books and the mythology as well, it always tells us that yes, there has been many instances like this as well. When we learn about this, even in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna mentions this, that yes, your it's who you think you are not. So if you think you are this body, you are not. If you think you are this mind, you are not. You are one soul, you are Brahma. So ultimately you are this prana. So it has, this term has got different names and people refer it differently. However, the meaning is one, that yes, this soul doesn't die, it's the body which dies. So ultimately soul changes the body like how we change the clothes. That's what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as well. And many people have been talking about this, many scholars have talked about it. Even if we talk about specifically Dayanand Saraswati ji, even Ved Vyas ji, these all people have talked something significant regarding the same, that yes, it's just the soul which leaves the body. And anyways, in yogic culture, as I am a yogi, so in yogic culture we do believe in this, that ultimately it's not just your body who you are, it is something within, and that is something which is connected to the universe as well. And we always try to do something good with that, because ultimately that is what is going to be going with you, because whatever we accumulate in this birth, in this life, with this body, with this mind, nothing is going to be with us anyways, because we are not this body, not even the mind.
All right. I'll come back to this. Like, you said that you have interacted with the Sushant Singh Rajput. Do you think I even talked about it? Do you think he would have been reincarnated, or what? What's like?
Well, this is something which is hard to answer, because reincarnation is something which nobody would know about. However, we do believe in it. And I do believe that if he is reincarnated, he must have become a, a beautiful soul again, because he was a very nice person. And I can say that he was a yogi too. And he was a kind of person who was really kind, compassionate. He used to think about the world. Whenever we have interacted, whenever after any session, if we have talked about anything, this anything would turn out to be something about the universe, something about world, something about cosmos, something which really connects you to the universe, and which tells you that okay, what that you know about it, that he was a very spiritual person. So yes, I can say that if he's incarnated, I'm sure he has definitely been incarnated as a beautiful soul.
I think, yeah, he was a soul that actually united the whole world. Whole world got shaken up. You know.
Yeah, my God, that's true. It's like he literally united everyone, and there were people who really loved him when he was alive, and after he left us, it's like people started loving him even more. Like then only we actually what happens when somebody is not there with us. So yes, there we can say that yes, he literally united everyone, and now we like everyone knows Sushant Singh Rajput, no
Yeah.
matter in India or anywhere else as well. He has become an icon.
Yeah. Okay, like let's move on to another question. Like God, soul never dies or gets old, and it has no specific gender. So, what do you have to say about that? Like, it's like it has no gender basically, but only when it gets into a body, it has a gender, or based or something like that. Yeah.
So there is something really very interesting about one book which I would like to mention on
Sure.
this one.
Mhm.
So the book is Garun Puran. It is one of the holy books, and not everyone has read it. And it has got some people really believe that, okay, you cannot just read it anytime because it could be inauspicious,
Oh,
because it is to be read or listened or learned only at the time when somebody passes away. So that is the time when this 13 days of ceremonies happen in Hinduism. Then the Pandit only he chants or he reads to the family about Garun Puran. Now, what is Garun Puran? First of all, let me just break this myth that, okay, you can only read it at the time it's inauspicious. No, it's not true. You can read it anytime. It is auspicious, and we must read it because then we will be able to realize what we do and what could be the impact of whatever we do. So now let's come back to the question only. So as you talked about the gender, we you asked the question about the gender of the soul. So what happens in Garun Puran? Garun Puran is a book which is about hell, heaven, which is about woe, rebirth, reincarnation. So as per Garun Puran, if whatever you do, if you do any sin, you will take another birth as something specific. So, for example, if somebody steals a book, and in the next birth, the person will be born blind, no matter whatever gender, no matter whatever creature the person would be. And as
wow.
per,
It is so
yes,
serious. It's so severe. Blind. Just for stealing a book.
exactly,
Oh my God, that is
exactly.
dangerous.
That's the reason people are scared of Garun Puran. That is the most amazing thing. If you kick any animal or cow or any Brahman or any enlightened person, then you are born handicapped. Like then you're born without a leg or something with a leg. That is what it is. These are the kind of things which is said, which are mentioned in Garun Puran. So if you read Garun Puran, you'll be able to check out. You will be able to understand, and it really shakes you that, oh my God, what all can happen if you do anything. And even that is the reason I have made a podcast also on this, specifically on Garun Puran. And in there you can check it out because the book is quite thick, and you will be able to get the summary which I have mentioned in Garun Puran in my podcast. Now,
You
yes,
can
please tell me.
advertise you can talk about your podcast in this episode as like with so that my viewers also can see your podcast.
Yes, definitely. We'll be talking about. I was thinking, I was keeping it for the end, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
as the
yeah.
topic of
Yes,
Garun
yes, yes.
Puran came.
For the end, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
so let's yeah, move on to this. Oh, you do have something else to say? As
yes, yes,
okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. Sorry,
So,
sorry. Okay. Mm,
no, no
yeah.
problem, no
Mm-hmm.
problem. So, ultimately, as we discuss, as we have established that we are the soul, and soul is nothing. It's nothing related to the body, because see, you wear different kind of clothes. You don't wear the similar kind of clothes always, right? Where be it's Western, it's ethnic, it could be anything, right? Or even without clothes as well. But ultimately, what happens is so without clothes, it's just, if you talk about the soul, it is a time
Yeah.
when the soul has left one body and has not taken any other rebirth. That is the
Mm-hmm.
time, like we
Oh,
can
yeah.
call it as like, okay, without clothes. Now what happens, where as we wear different clothes, always the soul also always enters into a different body. It's like the reincarnation could be different always. However, it is all dependent upon one's karmas, and that's what Garun Puran talks about. We'll be talking about it in detail. If there is anything you are going to ask regarding the same, then I think I'll be able to mention it better. And if you have any question regarding the same.
Yeah, so like basically that's what I've heard, like based on your karmas, like of this life, you enter into a body of another uh, depending, like if you've done very good karma, probably we'll be born in a rich parent's house or something like that. We're born beautiful. And if you have not done otherwise, and then it'll be otherwise. Do you think is my understanding correct?
Well, it's the most common, and this is the most popular understanding. and which is somewhat true as well. Because
Mhm.
ultimately, whatever birth we take, whatever reincarnation or rebirth you are gonna have as a human or as any animal, it it all depends on your past life karmas. Now, what are karmas? First of all, we need to understand that only. What happens, like, because there is a very famous saying these days, karma is a bitch. Well, firstly, we need to understand what karma truly is. How can you just say that simply? So, what karmas are? Any actions, anything, whether your good deeds, bad deeds, while sleeping, while eating, while walking, while kicking somebody, while doing anything, whatever you're doing consciously, subconsciously, or even unconsciously are your karmas. Now, unconsciously ultimately are something which are the impact of your conscious as well as subconscious, that we'll talk about later. Now, what happens is, like, whatever karmas, as let's say, as I was talking about the stealing the book, right? That is also something which you have done. So that is some work which you've done. You have stolen something. It was a theft. So ultimately, the impact of that is, if you did not get it here right now, you may get it in the next birth. That's what it is all about, and that is what it is. If you do some good karmas, however, there are some dharmas which are left for you to complete in this life. Then you take a rebirth, or it could be a good one because you have done some good karmas. Now, there are some sages, there are some yogis who literally complete all their dharmas. Now, what is dharmas? First of all, dharma, what I'm talking about right now, is not religion. Dharmas are something, your duties. Duties simply doesn't mean your specific duties. These are the duties which is as per the societal duties and the personal duties, private duties, you can say. So if you're able to complete everything, and you have made sure you have done all good deeds only all your life, you have been kind to people, you have been taking care of everything what you should be, like, um, helping somebody who cannot help give you anything in return, that is also something really amazing to do. So people who do these kind of things, there are possibilities that they may not take any other form as well, at least for some time.
So one thing
And
I just want to ask you, like, say, if you've taken a birth as a human, in next lifetime you'll be human, or you can be animal as well.
you could be anything. It's not compulsory that you're going to be human for sure, because as we believe, as we know, as per science as well, and as per the religion, as per the spirituality as well, that you have 84 lakh yonis. So these 84 lakh or yonis, you are going to be shifting from one to another one. Ultimately, it all depends on your karmas. So yes, it's not necessary that you are human in this birth and you're doing everything possible wrong. You may get a poor birth in you may get the next birth as a poor person. It's not necessary. It could be that you may be born as a turtle. So it's very difficult to determine, because that is something to be determined by some authorities, which some people believe and some people do not believe in. But yes, it's hard to determine that.
Okay. All right. My next question is, in view of the above mentioned Vedic concept, there is no scope of heaven or hell after death. Any heaven or hell after death is nothing more than one's imagination, as no one has ever returned after death to explain description of heaven or hell. Both have heaven or hell are right here in this life. So we have, like, we keep on talking, right? Even in, like, not only in other religion we talk heaven and hell, but here also in Hinduism we talk swarg, nark, and all that, right? So what do you think that you're not going to some places based on your action? You are just either taking rebirth or not taking rebirth, or taking in a lower life or higher life, or things that is it something like that?
Well, it is something which can be a great discussion about. So it's because ultimately it is something on your belief. It's on the belief system, and it's on what you have been reading, what you've been learning since childhood. Now, if we say as per logical language, it is something which doesn't happen, which is true that, okay, ultimately you're going to be getting everything here only. So let's say, let's go in two different ways. One way is that, okay, whatever you do, here, you are going to get the return here only. As they say, whatever goes around comes around. So ultimately, whatever you're going to do, if you do good deeds, it's going to come back to you. If you do bad deeds, it's going to come back to you in this birth only, or in this life only. A second thing could be that if whatever you have done, what we have established already in the previous question, that whatever you do, you may get, if you did not get a chance, or if you did not get to correct those mistakes in this birth, you may be reborn again to correct those mistakes, to correct those karmas, what you did in the previous birth. Now, ultimately, as I've mentioned, one more thing as well, that there are yogis who literally complete their all dharmas, and they make sure that nothing is left behind. They ultimately do everything. They may ultimately reach the place which is we call heaven as well. And for that, I would like to mention something as well. When we were learning yoga, I think it's in 2008, our Guruji was telling us one story about one person. There was one yogi. He was able to complete everything, whatever you should be doing when you are in this human form. Because as we believe that, okay, humans are the most intelligent creatures among all 84 lakhs, right? So you are given this birth to be able to correct everything what you could not do as any other animal, insect, reptile, anything, right? So this person has completed everything, and he has lived everything what he should be doing. And then he did great penance, and he was about to reach somewhere, but he was stopped somewhere, as in, like, if we say in other words, the gates of heavens, let's say. So he was stopped there because he was not able to complete all his dharmas, because he never got married. So ultimately he had to come back. Now, I'm talking about a kind of person who was that great yogi, that who could take his soul out of this physical form only and go to astral. Now this person comes back, and then he realizes that, okay, he needs to do this. He never got married. So then his soul enters into some king's body who just got married, and then he lived that life for some time, and then only he could get through what we call as heaven. And ultimately, as I mentioned about Garun Puran before, so hell is a place. In Garun Puran, there is a great mention of hell. If you do bad deeds, and till you don't get any other birth, what you have to go through, whatever you have done in this life, whatever you need to return, what all you need to make sure to do things correct, you have to go through all of that in hell, and that is mentioned in Garun Puran. So yes, it could be different for different people, I would say.
So I just want to ask you, like, two things I want to ask you. Like, you mentioned something astral body. Like, I was doing one, episode with one of my guests on Aghoris, and he was also talk about this astral body. So can you explain what is this astral body? I'm not like very clear.
Okay, so ultimately what happens is, see, what we were calling as soul or prana, you can call that itself as astral body. But if I say in specific or in generic terms, when a person is able to reach some level with yoga, with meditation, with practicing, or with by getting siddhis, he acquires this power to be able to take this soul out of his body when he's alive. Usually, and as we have established, and as we know, that the soul is something which leaves your body once you're dead. But as we know that, okay, with being a human, you can acquire anything. You are unstoppable, right? So there are people who are able to take their soul out of their body to be able to do something, to be able to travel, fly, because soul is nothing. Soul is formless. So soul can do literally anything. It's just that if you have reached that level, you take your soul out as a human form, however, which is invisible for everyone, and which cannot touch anything, however, which can feel, see, smell, literally do anything, whatever you do with your body. So that is some astral form. And with that, there have been yogis, there have been people who have done something great. However, we don't know about it, because these are the people, they never come out, because they never want to show it. They never want to advertise it, because that's what they learn when they practice this.
So, okay, that's a good discussion. Another question, this is another topic that I want to. You said that Garun Puran you should only talk about when someone is dead or something. So if you want to do a podcast on Garun Puran, we cannot do that.
So, so actually, I made the podcast specifically on that,
Okay.
for this reason only. For
Mhm.
this reason, so because I wanted to break this myth that okay, you cannot listen to
Oh.
Garun Puran, you cannot speak about, you cannot talk about it, because people believe it's auspicious because it is related to death,
Uh-huh.
and death is a taboo topic for everyone. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? So today, what we are doing is something just amazing, and I would say hats off to you. You're doing some topic which is like which people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's it's great.
Yeah. So, do you think these movies, that are made out of, is that something about like, I remember like when we were little kids, we had, I just forgot some Hema Malini movie, and then she takes rebirth. And do you think these movies are inspired by true incidents or is just for, fun?
Well, actually, if we talk about movies specifically, movies, when they started making movies, like
Yeah.
anywhere in any part of the world, they started making movies to depict something what has happened before, or what they known about, what they have learned from
Yeah.
books or from some scriptures. So they started with that only. Now anything you make with your imagination as well, that's why the fiction things are there. But at the time, and especially if we talk about the specific Hema Malini movie, I'm
Yeah.
sure it must have been the idea they have gotten from this, the whatever we believe in, that yes, the
Yeah.
rebirth or reincarnation, or we may not be wrong if we believe that it was the story of Shanti Devi or
Yeah,
Lugdi
Shanti Devi.
Devi.
Exactly. No, and that's what
So
I'm saying. Like, this Shanti Devi was discussed in the parliament at that time during, when Nehru
imagine.
and my question is like, why do you think any movie was made or no? Do you have any idea? No, right? I haven't heard about it.
On this specific topic,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. Like, not literally, they have
Mhm.
gotten the idea and they made some things related with which you get the idea that, okay, what happens? Like, for example, Om Shanti Om
Uh,
or Kars,
Curse, yeah,
some
exactly.
movies.
Yeah.
Yes. So, the Kars, Rishi Kapoor's movie, yes, in that, they have shown the rebirth. And the person remembers as well whatever
Yeah.
happened in the previous birth. But
Yeah.
that is a story of revenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like sometimes like people say I was even listening to Sadhguru what he was saying that it's better that you don't remember about your past life, otherwise this life will create confusion, but there are very few incidents that we know that some people really remembered that like Shanti Devi. Okay.
So, for remembering, I would like to mention something.
Yeah,
So,
sure, sure.
what happens ultimately? See, there is this amazing thing about a baby. When a baby is born, he's
Mm-hmm,
just little.
mm-hmm.
At that time, the baby knows nothing, right? Baby cannot understand. Baby cannot see anything even for 6 months, right? It can only see the lights, right? So, at that time, a baby, when first time mother puts her breast in the baby's mouth to feed the baby doesn't realize what is happening, but ultimately he realizes and he starts drinking milk. That is how he starts drinking milk. Now this baby is so small that you cannot teach him anything. And how can he just understand that? What is he supposed to do with that? Because there is possibility that in many previous birth he has been drinking mother's milk, because that is how every creature, whenever they're born, that's what they start with. That is one thing. Now apart from that as well, there is one more thing too. A baby is literally baby cries as well as smiles anytime, like so many mood swings till the time baby is not able to speak anything. After that it changes. After that you also start realizing that okay, now the baby is crying, he may be hungry or something like that. But when baby is like really really small, at the time the baby keeps doing some things, so there is a possibility that the baby is remembering something from the previous birth which he is remembering, and that is the reason there is something happy, something sad. That's why happiness, that's why smile and cry. So there is very much possibility that yes, he remembers the previous birth. But as we grow older, as we start stepping into this world, yes, we tend to forget about it. And yes, it is good that yes, we forget about it, because anyways, we keep cribbing about something or the other every day. If we remember things from the previous birth as well, oh my God, what will be the
So
condition of
double
people?
crib. We'll be cribbing. Oh, this we didn't in the previous crib and current crib.
Exactly, because right now, like, we have at least 10 people to complain about. Then you have 10 extra, right, from the previous birth.
We're always complaining. We're not happy, like, even though we have everything. Okay,
Exactly.
let's move on to our last question, and then we'll talk about about your podcast. And okay, moksha salvation is the ultimate aim of life. That is getting free from cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and becoming free from the vagaries one gets in the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Therefore, it is said one should always do noble karma. So then we talk about, like, if you keep complete your dharma, you complete your everything, and then you can be liberated, is nirvana kind of like, and you will not take birth anymore. But sometimes
Yes.
when we talk about like this moksha, people are, no, I want to take birth. I like this life. Nobody wants to get moksha. People say, oh, I'm not coming back. So it's so. So what do you think? Like, when you go get moksha, it's a different life altogether or something like that?
So, firstly, I'll come to this thing that whenever we living this life, many people you see, like for example, like I don't drink.
Yeah.
So if I go to any party or anywhere, or like any good occasion, so when people are drinking, they always offer me, and I say, okay, sorry, I don't drink. So they say, oh, you get this one life only, you should live it to the fullest. I understand living it to the fullest, but it could be, the definition of living it to the fullest could be different for everyone,
Mhm.
right? Now, what happened, living it to the fullest could be something that you ultimately try to do everything possible, whatever you can, as a human being. Now, firstly, what is happening is we are not realizing that we get this birth, we don't get this birth so easily. It is very rare to get, because 84 lakh yonis. So yes, you may have to take this many birth, and if you have gotten this birth, we need to live it to the fullest. Now, if we talk about moksha, liberation, so, as per Hinduism, we do believe in moksha. We do believe that yes, your body can literally reach certain place, which some people call it as heaven or liberation. And even for that, the interesting part is there is a mantra as well for that. And we may have heard this mantra, but we may not know what it is truly about. And the mantra is Lord Shiva's Mahamrityunjaya Jap.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yes.
Om
Oh,
Trayambakam
nice.
Yajamahe. Yeah, I know that.
That's nice. So
Yeah.
yes, Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Uruvarkamiva Vandanam Mrityu Mokshyam Amritat. In this mantra, we are praying to Lord Shiva that, oh dear God, you nourish this planet. You are the one who can literally help me get rid of this life and birth cycle. Like the way cucumber relieves itself from its roots, help me relieve from this life and let me get rid of this life and death cycle. So that's just amazing. This is a great example and great proof that yes, it is possible, and that's what we believe in. And yes, it has been happening because the mantras are thousands of years old. So yes, there have been people who have focused more on these things, and yes, ultimately reach somewhere. That's where we got this all knowledge from. So yes, I do believe in liberation, that yes, it is possible, and it is very much possible by doing good deeds, if nothing else. And apart from that, if you just do meditation, meditation doesn't mean that you have to sit down and do meditation only. If you do anything good, what you like to do, what you love to do, you are meditating. If you love to paint, right, and if you have a lot of stress, you must paint, you'll be able to get rid of the stress, and that is your meditation, right? Listening to music, anything it could be, but that doesn't mean okay, doing drugs is meditation. Yeah, that's what I don't mean to say.
No, no,
So
no. Not
yes,
harming your body is
liberation
not
is possible.
meditation.
True, exactly. And your body tells you everything. That's the most amazing thing. So, like, if I come back to the same thing, what I mentioned before, that, okay, I don't drink because I don't feel my body requires it. That's what I'm saying. So, your body tells you everything if you start listening to it. Your mind always is in sync with your body as well as with the universe. You would literally know whatever happens. What is deja vu? What happens in the dream? Sometimes we see something and it literally happens because your conscious mind is like, when you're sleeping at the time, your subconscious as well as your unconscious mind is working. When you're awake, your conscious mind is working. But if you are in sync with conscious, subconscious, unconscious, you can literally do anything, achieve anything, and be liberated. That's what is very much possible.
All right. Thank you for such an amazing and interesting question. Like before I let you go, would you like to tell the viewers of the Atman Show to like, subscribe, and share this episode on my channel?
Oh, for sure. Yes, you are doing a great work. So please, everyone, I will request you all to like, subscribe, and share the Atman Show. And you can listen about these interesting stories with my podcast as well, which is Bhaskar Yogacharya. It's on Amazon Music, it's on Audible, Spotify, everywhere, all the podcast channels. And if you would like to listen to any of these in Hindi, I have my another channel which is named Bhaskar Yogacharya Hindi. You will be able to get all the idea about everything, whatever we discuss about. And I have made podcast on Bhagavad Gita, on Garun Puran, on Chanakya Niti, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. There are lots, and I'm still making more. And even if you have any questions, any queries regarding whatever we discuss about today or about yoga, you can always reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. With the name is same. It's with everything is with the same name, Bhaskar Yogacharya. And please make sure that you keep listening to the Atman Show, because you're gonna be learning some amazing stuff. Because as I've started watching the videos, it's like I'm amazed that, my God, how do you get this idea to make these podcasts? It's just amazing.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar. Now, like I just want, like, hopefully you will come back to this The Atman Show again, and we are go.
I'll be glad.
I want to do another episode with you on yoga, and then we'll discuss about it, like how we'll go about that. And because I know you're a celebrity yoga trainer, so uh, I would like to get that, let everybody benefit from the knowledge and wealth of knowledge that you have. All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Good luck and have a nice day.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.